we've literally run out of room. Welcome to the apartment, everyone. I'm Kevin, and this is Real Boring Flips, and another video of all the great stuff that's come in just in the last couple of weeks. I know I've done a couple of videos in a row now of just great thrifting, and it just keeps getting better. So we're just going to run through everything, show you what I bought, why I bought it, what I paid for it, what I think I'm going to get, and I think you're going to enjoy some of the stuff we came up with. And I have a couple of new technology things that we're going to be dealing with. But before we do that, because I know you come here for this one important thing, I'm going to show you what I'm enjoying. And this is a half-day prebiotic lemon iced tea, and it should be good. So let's see. It definitely is lemon iced tea. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to set that off to the side so I don't spill it. So I've been hitting my local Goodwill very hard recently as I've gone back into the office every day of the week. I drive past that Goodwill every day on my way home, so I've been stopping in, and I'm trying to adjust my time of arrival. So I feel like I'm getting there before the crowds, but I'm getting there when there's good stuff coming out or good stuff that's already been brought out. And as you know, I've been really going after things like board games and bagged toys. So I got a whole selection here. We're gonna look at this stuff, we'll swap out, bring in some other stuff over here, and we'll go through that. So one thing that was kind of exciting for me is I've added a in-store camera. So I'm doing a little bit of in-store footage, trying that out. I showed on my last video just a tiny bit of that. But I'll show you a little clip here of me actually finding something. So you're going to see me finding something that I actually am showing you now. So yes, it is true that I actually do find stuff. Weirdly, I've gotten a few comments to some of my videos kind of disputing that I'm actually selling stuff or buying stuff. So I do have an upcoming What Sold in February video to show you that. But I feel really bad because I've been noticing a lot of the YouTubers that I watch that are resellers spend endless amount of time on their videos talking about the negative feedback they're getting, the negative comments, and it doesn't really bother me. I just, hide those from other viewers. But I do look at all the comments because even if it's a negative comment, I try to dissect something that I can use to improve my videos. So if you didn't know, I also post my solds on my Instagram, Real Boring Flips. So I try to keep that, I'm trying to keep that up to date. So as I sell something, I post a snapshot of the sold screen. So you can see as I'm going along things that are selling and add a little bit of a context to about the item. So for those of you that want to comment that say, this guy's lying, he doesn't actually sell anything, I'll post that stuff there so you can see. And then I'll also, I may start just posting periodic, how I'm doing in 90 days. I pretty much, at the rate I'm going, I'm going at about $8,000 to $9,000 every 90 days. Now that obviously includes shipping, so it's not like a profit, but just to give you an idea of where I'm at. And that's like 120 or so sales in 90 days, which is about where I want to be right now. So let's go through this stuff. I'm really excited to show you this stuff. I'll start with this helicopter. Now, I do have the blades are sitting here. One of them was not on here when I picked this up in the store, but I did find it. But I grabbed this mostly because I just sold this great tank that I recently bought. Really great profit. And so it kind of piqued my interest that maybe this might be something that had some value. And crazily, it does. The other reason I picked it up is because when I looked inside, I could see some characters. There's a little vehicle in here. I really didn't know much about this. I think it's called Hero Force. Actually, I don't even remember now. I'll show you the comp for the copter. And as it turned out, when I got home and looked at it, there's an entire bag. These were actually loose. I put them in a bag, but there's the Jeep in there. But this is an entire bag of A lot of weapons, a lot of Chapmai soldiers. And I was familiar with Chapmai, so I knew that would be good. But I only paid $8 for this entire helicopter, and I think I'm going to do well. But one of the things that I started doing, when I find something like this, I try to go back the very next day to see if there's any more. And so you'll see in the little in-store video today of me picking up, I think I only show one, but me picking up 2 more bags of Chapmai. Incredible. So I'm $8 in on the helicopter, and then each of these bags was $6. Now, I'll have to do a little bit of, I'll put up some comps, but these are really good figures. I've sold Chapmai other types of characters before, but really happy with that purchase, and glad that I went back specifically looking to see if there was any more of this stuff. I'm sure your Goodwill is probably the same. Someone donates a whole bunch of stuff, and sometimes it just trickles out as they process it. So I also just tear through anything that's bagged, and usually I will, as long as there's not a lot of people around, I will grab any bags that look interesting to me, put them in my cart, and then I'll find some a little bit quieter place to look through that stuff, see what it is. If I don't know, I'll show you a couple things here that I just didn't know what they were. I'll show you a little bit of footage. The annoying thing about my Goodwill is they rearrange things, and now the board games and these bag toys are in the same aisle as baskets and plastic hangers. And there's always a crowd of people around the plastic hangers. I have no idea why, but it's always, I guess, frustratingly busy in that aisle, because there's people like me who are trying to find certain board games or toys, and then there's people who want plastic hangers for some reason. So I'll just go through these. There's a couple of like bags. I wasn't familiar with these. I want to say they're Roblox. I can't remember exactly the correct name for that, but when I find an entire bag of a bunch of figures and pieces and parts, if the price isn't too bad, now this was $15, so I really had to think about this, but I've not sold these before, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to give that a try, see what I can get from this $15 bag of Roblox toys. So we'll see on that. Now, I never buy this kind of stuff, but I'll tell you why I bought this particular one. I think it's right here, actually. I have one of the very first things I bought when I started reselling on purpose. Went to an estate sale, and this person was an extreme collector / hoarder of all things McDonald's. They had tons of bags of, new in the bag McDonald's Happy Meal toys. They had like the Happy Meal carrier neatly folded, the little head things that you put on your head for McDonald's, all that stuff. I got a ton of the bagged figures. I've sold most of them, but I do have one set of these Toy Story 2, and I'm missing one, and I believe it's this one. If I remember right, it was the remote control car that I was missing. There's a couple of other ones in here. So I felt like, based on my experience with selling those in the past, I felt like the $7 that I was going to spend here was probably worth it, because either way, I'll just put all those together and still be able to get out of it what I put into it. So sometimes these are really good flips. I bought it specifically because I'm trying to get the missing one that I need. A lot of times I will buy Schleich figures, dinosaurs, whatnot. I hadn't seen this one before. It's got I need to do a little cleanup on it, but I hadn't seen this one before, and it is a Schleich character. I did pay quite a bit for it. I don't think it was discounted. I paid $5 for it, but it was unique. Unique enough for me to buy it. I don't think it's a huge money maker, but it was unique enough for me. I think this was there was a period where we had a big storm here. We were out of power. Most of the area was out of power for most of a day, if not a couple of days. And at my local Goodwill, when they came back online, the cell service was still down, or it was minimized. So there was no no way to comp anything in the store, so that was something I bought that day. Another thing I do grab a lot of are Playmobil bags of Playmobil figures. This is a pretty big bag, a lot of characters. It's $15. We have a lot of Playmobil stuff from our kids, and so worst case scenario, this just goes in lumped in with the stuff we already have. But I do have quite a bit of stuff. I got another bag here that I got I think last week. This is another bag of Playmobil. So I try to get those where I can kind of combine things together, lock them together, and maybe make a little more value. One thing, I got several bags here, and this was another one of those things where I went back day after day to see if more stuff was coming out, and I'm pretty sure I was getting more stuff. But a lot of vintage, so these are like 1990s Marvel, a lot of X-Men characters in here. I'd seen these before. In fact, I have a few of these. So I was comfortable paying $15 for this bag, just with the number of characters that were in there. And then I also got this bag. Sorry, this was actually in that bag as well. And then next day, I was able to get another bag, more vintage Marvel characters, and I have a few more in another bag that I have ready to sell. So I'll probably try to combine these up, maximize my profit on those. But I always look for 90s type of stuff like that. So this was a bag that you probably wouldn't have bought. It was $13 for these wrestling figures. I don't think that was a good buy. One of the figures I was getting comps on of, maybe $10 for just the one figure. I think that was probably a bad buy. So I don't do wrestling figures, and that was just a little bit of a reach on my part. So tell me if you know what these are. I didn't. I was able to pull one out and comp it, and I was surprised at what these figures were actually going for. So I was happy to pay $7 for this entire bag, because there's a lot of figures and a lot of little pieces on here. So I think that'll do well. Sorry, I can't remember the name, so I'll show you on the screen. And then I was familiar with Ben 10. I knew this was a bag of Ben 10, and I have another bag of Ben 10, and I'm going to lot all these together. This was only $6 for this lot. I'm very comfortable paying that. Another thing I look for is new in the package stuff. And my kids, especially when you see something like this, Toys R Us. So I didn't know for sure if this would be worth it. It's a Phineas and Ferb collector pack. And I think I took the sticker off, but I think I paid $6 for this. There's some comps for this one, but it's a slightly different set. But I think I would say I'll get at least $50 based on the comps that I did see. There were $100 sold for some of these with a slightly different makeup of characters. But always good to look up anything you see that says Toys R Us for the first part that's new in the package. So I thought that was a great find for just randomly looking through the toy aisle. So I got a couple things here on the floor I'm going to cover, and then we'll do a switch out. So every once in a while I'll buy tennis rackets, and I do pretty well with them. But this one was so unique to me that I had to get it. This came not from Goodwill, but it came from my St. Vincent de Paul. St. Vincent, I'm not sure the full name of the store. There's a piece of paper that was in here. Now I don't know where it is. But here it is. So what struck me is the tag for it has Jimmy Connors and Chris Everett. So I knew right off the bat it was vintage, but it's in such good shape. This can't have ever been used, but it's kind of cool. It's a graphite and Kevlar Wilson Pro staff. Now I could not find any comps for the 125. This is a big, very large tennis racket. So they have a mid size, they have a large size. This must be the extra large size, because that is massively big for a Jimmy Connors, Chris Everett era tennis racket. Really cool looking. Has the case. And I was shocked to only have to pay $3.25 for this. What was weird about it, was I had pulled it down, I had comped it, so I knew I was going to get it. I had a couple things in my hand, so I set them down because I was looking for the strap for it, because the strap was not on it. So I was set my stuff down, I was digging through the other tennis rackets looking for the strap, and I had only looked away for a second, and I turned around and the tennis racket's gone. And there was no one around me. So someone came up to me, right behind me, reached over, basically right to my side, grabbed the tennis racket and walked off. So irritating. I think it was just some kids playing, because I found it about 20 feet away, just on some other stuff. So very odd. I don't know. I think it was just kids playing, but would you ever do that? I mean, I can't imagine someone doing that when you clearly know someone is buying that. So another thing I got at that same store, and I hardly ever buy these anymore just because you guys have to pay quite a bit for them, and they're usually not worth it. But I felt like the $4 I had to pay for this one, and the fact that it's only got the heated covers for the massage knobs here, it's still worth it at $4, and it does work, and it's pretty nice actually. This is the kind that has a twist handle, so you can really work that thing. At my Goodwill, this would have been probably $20 in this condition. I don't know why they think they're worth that much. But I did get this at my Goodwill, and most people pass on these because, oh, it's the Wii version. But this is the Guitar Hero, and so you just put your Wiimote in there, and then it works. You don't have any weird dongles or anything. And this one has a nice strap. Everything's nice condition. I paid $8 for it, and assuming it works, which I'll have to test it. These are not bad. I probably have a whole pile of these in storage. I've sold a couple, and then I just started stacking them. But I'll put a game with this, test it, and I should do pretty well on that. So I've been collecting these recently at Goodwill because people tend to pass on them nowadays. Okay, we're gonna swap out, and I'll get a new load of stuff here, so hang on. Okay, and we're back. So one of the things I wanted to show you was what I like about this new camera I'm using for in-store footage. So I may have showed this before, but I'll show it again. So this is the camera I got. It's an Insta360 Go 3, and then it's the upgraded S model. Basically looks a little bit like a GoPro. Here's a GoPro 7, which I also use sometimes. But what I like about this, and I'll take off my microphone here for a second. What I like about this camera and the way I use it is I actually have a magnetic, here, I'll bring me down a little bit. I have a magnetic lanyard on right now, which is what I was using for that. But the camera will actually come out of this dock and just goes on there. So as I'm walking around the store, this is all you see on me, and you'll see a little light there, but much less in your face than a big GoPro or me holding my phone trying to record stuff. So I think it's working out. I'm tweaking it a little bit, but I really like this method. Now I don't get a ton of record time. I only get about a half-hour record time, and I've already learned that I have to make sure my coat's not covering it, because this does heat up and it gives you a too hot warning. So we'll keep using that. I'll just put my mic back on there. But we'll keep going with that, and keep trying that a little more. I don't know where to put put those back. Okay, so hopefully I'll be able to continue getting some footage so you can see the stuff I'm actually getting that I'm actually showing you here. So a couple things. This was another thing that I grabbed at my St. Vincent de Paul. I like getting vintage kitchen stuff, and this is a West Blend bun warmer, electric bun warmer, but it's got the little book in there, the cord. I haven't tested this yet, but I only paid $2.50, and the comps are I mean, this, you're not winning the lotto with this, but it's so cool. People love this stuff. I sell all kinds of vintage cooking stuff that you would think, you know, who would want, but really nice condition, clean, and that'll be a fun sell. So you saw, I think in one of my last videos, I showed you that I had picked up this orange. This is a Mr. Coffee iced tea pitcher, and because I've really been hot after these, and today was 50% off day for green, and so I was able to get the matching tea maker. So now I've got the tea maker and the pitcher, and I'll be able to lump this together and sell this together. Probably get $30 to $40. I've now got $8 in on these two items, which is funny because I also got another blue pitcher today for $4. So now this is my third one. So what I'm going to do, I've got the tea maker, and then I've got 3 of these pitchers, and I was selling those separately. So I'm going to put one of these with the tea maker, and then I'll sell the other 2 pitchers separately. So they just keep showing up. Now that I know what I'm looking for, they just keep showing up. So something I don't buy, here's something I don't buy. In fact, I don't even like the word plush. To me, growing up, this was a stuffed animal, even though, you know, whatever. I paid $8, and it just, to me, it looked like, that's a little bit bigger. That's a Shrek. Let's see if we can figure it out. It's from Shrek 2. So, had a little bit of age on it, 2004. The comps, I was really shocked, to be honest, that people would pay that for something like this, but we're going to give it a go. Try to make that into a thumbnail. You also saw in one of my last videos, I talked about this Samsung One Connect cord that I got for 99 cents, but I couldn't find the breakout box, and I looked and looked. Well, guess what showed up? Here's the breakout box. Paid $8 for this, so now I'll be able to put this together, and I usually sell these for around $100 with the cord. So the cord itself is about $25. So I think I have another one of these listed right now, but I've got it priced quite a bit up. Prices have come down on these, but they're still great flips because most Goodwills just, they don't even know what this is. So look for those things. Those are great. Look for remotes too. Now, I don't normally buy remotes, but this one, I have a bunch of Toshiba DVD VCRs, and what I normally look for when I'm looking at remotes is if I see VCR and DVD buttons, and maybe sometimes you'll even see a button that says dub, or here's a record button. But I have several of these that I need remotes for, and I don't like buying those replacement remotes because they're usually terrible. So this, for a couple of dollars, was worth the investment because I already knew I needed it. So one thing I have bought a lot of, and they usually go for pretty good money at estate sales, so you end up getting into bidding wars, are home slides. So weirdly, I saw this on the shelf at my Goodwill, and I thought it was just the thing that holds slides, but it's actually just a bunch of slides. So I haven't looked at these yet, but I only paid $1.99, so who knows? Maybe that's the Kennedy family. I don't know. Could be someone cool. I was familiar with this because I've seen other people sell these. I can't remember who, maybe Commonwealth Picker. But I knew what this was. I remembered these Rolly kits, and I'll show you just a little bit. So these, I don't know why you would want this, but kids apparently did want these. So you put all your junk in there, and this whole thing would roll up, really cool like. And I dropped all the pieces out of it, but it did have a bunch of the dividers in there. So, whoa! We're gonna cut that out too. I really got to sell this globe because it's going crazy on me. I paid $5 for that Rolly kit, so that'll be a good. That's a good flip too. I didn't even look at these, but I have a bunch of other Tech Deck stuff. So I saw a bag of Tech Deck, and there's a couple Hot Wheels versions, which I guess have some value, but there was a bunch of Tech Deck in here, and it was $1.99. That was worth adding to my pile. I don't know. I have not been buying these just because my Goodwill has priced these up to the point where it's not worth it. But this was $13, and I still make probably $20 on this. So, and it looks in pretty good shape. This does have a weird battery, which I thought I had. I do have one, but it's basically almost dead. So it does power on, but I haven't been able to fully test it yet. But at least it does appear to work. When I look through the cord section, which I think, as I mentioned last time, unmarked cords are $1 or $1. So I was able to get this Nintendo Game Boy adapter and a Game Boy cord for $1 each. I bought this. It was a sad story. I bought this. It's a music box. No comps. I have not comped it yet, but it's a music box bus. So you turn the music thing here, and then when you turn it on here, it actually rolls. Really cool. This has got to be worth something. But walking from the car into my house, I broke one of the other light off. It was already missing this silver ring, but I just snapped it right off. It's inside here. But this is pretty cool. This has got to have some value. I only paid $7 for it. I'm convinced this is worth something. That was one of those gut feel purchases. Another gut feel purchase, actually it wasn't because I picked it up and comped it. Sometimes you can find this ruggedized stuff. So this isn't made for, the office secretary. This is made for the guy who is basically maybe running plumbing or electrical and needs to label stuff. This is a Dymo Rhino 4200. Crazy comps. I paid $8. It works. It's got one cartridge in it. I've got some other ones I could use if it was empty. But crazy how much this stuff sells for. You saw one of these recently. I bought it and sold it almost within days. This is a Microsoft Surface cordless mouse. So it's got the original charging cord, and as you can see, it's still charged. These are great. I think you have to have Windows 10 or Windows 11 for these to work, but I did all the testing on the last one I bought, and it sold quickly for $50. I paid $6. I'm sure I'll get at least $50 for this one, and it'll sell quickly. Here's something I don't buy. I really didn't want to buy this, but I paid $7 for it. I have one of these Leapster Explorers that I got from somebody, and these are in the box. So all the cartridges, the booklets, the cases. A lot of people just sell these cartridges, but I should still get about $25 for this set of 5. And I may just put that player in, because I got that for free. Put that player in and bundle this all together. This was hey, I want to try buying one of these. This is one of those like sunrise clock radios. So you can set it up to where this light gradually comes on and gets brighter and brighter, and then you have music and stuff. I haven't messed around. It does work, but I haven't messed around on doing the settings. But really kind of a new thing for me. I like trying stuff like this. So this was $8. The comps looked good enough to worth trying that. I kind of bought this not as a resale, but so we'd have one. We were just out of power for twice for hours, 12 hours one day and a few hours the next. And I basically had to run a generator so I could make coffee. I've had one of these before. This isn't a big seller. I got it for half price today, so I only paid $3.50 for this. It's really nice condition. It's got the manual in it, and it's basically just a stovetop espresso maker. I think I have a tiny version of this in my backpacking stuff, but this was basically just, I'd like to have one of those. Another thing I like to have is these Ninja pitchers for the food processors or blenders, and Goodwill normally charges these up. This I got at St. Vinny's, $3. The lid itself I could probably sell for $25, but I'll probably put all this together. It's got a regular blade, not a dough blade, but a regular blade in there, really nice condition. So if you've not sold Ninja before, there's like probably 3 different versions, so you have to figure out which version this is. I can't remember, but it's easy to figure out. I start with, this is a 64 ounce Ninja pitcher. Go from there, find one that matches what you got, and then you can figure out which motor this goes to. I think I've gotten rid of, I might have one motor left, but easy to figure out. This one's super clean as well. So really happy that that came in. Okay, so I think I got one more thing sitting here to talk about, and then we'll do another swap out. I have a Nylint tow truck that I got at Goodwill a while ago. I haven't sold yet, but I'm not very aggressive on that price, but I'm going to get more aggressive. But I saw this Nylint Big Earl Mr. Good wrench, and the reason I got it, there was actually two different. There was a Tonka semi truck trailer, and then this Nylint. And I went with the Nylint because it's the gas hauler, and this was in really nice shape. The Tonka was kind of beat up. I paid $10 for this, but I think I'll do pretty well, especially considering the condition. Really good condition. I'm just going to wipe this down basically, and that'll go out. Okay, we're going to do another swap out. We'll be right back, so hang on. We'll get another load of stuff in here. I think I got basically maybe one more, a lot of board games next, and show you the rest of this stuff. Really great stuff that's come in, so hang on. Okay, we're back. I had one other electronic that I wanted to show you, and I feel like I paid probably too much for this, but I bought it for potential personal use. I have a couple other ones of these. I've got a new in-box one that's listed right now, but what I liked about these is these have the M-Disc recording drives, and if you're not familiar with M-Disc, it's a little better archive format for stuff. The discs don't deteriorate like normal DVDs.
The world's first permanent storage solution. Unlike traditional storage mediums, the M-Disc has a patented rock-like layer that literally engraves your data in stone.
So I paid $25 for it. This is still a nice, I mean, I could sell it for that or more, probably $50. But normally I wouldn't buy something for $25 to sell for $50, especially when it's a little bit more difficult to sell, like something like this. But because I'm doing a little bit of that stuff right now, copying discs and recording old family movies, this is something I can probably use and then sell. So that was last on the list of electronics. So let's get into games. As I mentioned, I've really been going after games lately. Spent a lot of time in the game aisle when there's not someone there trying to get plastic hangers. A couple of these things, this one actually is the one that I bought, not really for resale, but we might just keep this. It's kind of a neat version, and some people just part these out because the pieces are special. This is a 1935 commemorative edition tin Monopoly, really nice condition inside. It was cheap, it was $6. I might sell, I was mentioning I got those wooden game sets. I might sell our Monopoly that we have in that version, and we'll just keep this version. So recently, actually I'll show you these first because I'm more familiar with these, but I've been doing a lot of this vintage strategy games, and if you've ever seen these are, I do a lot of military stuff, but these are sports strategy. And so these are both, I think, Avalon Hill, I believe, yeah. So these are both Avalon Hill. So you'd essentially have little sports cards that you would use as your players in order to play the game. And this one was, both of these were $6. The comps are really pretty good on these. There's tons of versions of these, and so you got to really identify what you have. But I'll do well with $6 for the football. The baseball tends to bring much more money, and this one is full of a couple of different years of cards, and I'll show you real quick here what I'm talking about if you haven't seen this. So this says includes players from 1979 season, but essentially they're just cards for each player that was really playing in that era. I think I have a couple of different years in here, and then as part of my Facebook Marketplace purchase where I bought a bunch of strategy magazines and board games, I got an entire box of these Status Pro baseball teams from several different years. That stuff sells great. So for $6, this will probably sell for at least 50. And then I've got all those other years of player cards. So keep your eye out for that stuff. What I wasn't familiar with was this APBA baseball game. And this was on the shelf when I went to Goodwill. And there was a couple of sets, in addition, there was a couple of sets of cards in boxes. And I'll show you what I mean. So here's the APBA Journal Sport Baseball 1927-1957 cards. And so, not being familiar with this, but knowing about the Status Pro, I knew that, it might be worth the $10 I paid for the big board game, and then the $7 I paid for each one of these boxes of cards. And I'm still trying to fully identify what I have, but this stuff goes for serious money because people want every year. They want the players from every year. And it turns out this box didn't really have everything in it, but this is one of the older boxes because the other ones have like years in here. This one doesn't have any year identified. And then in addition to that, inside here is another version of this, just in a smaller box. Also, I don't think this one has a year, but both of these have a lot of the pieces and parts for the games. So just not the players, which I have over there. So still trying to sort this out, but keep your eye out for some of that strategy type games where you get, it's old school. It's not like an iPad. It's paper, pieces of paper. So I think I'll do pretty well on all that stuff. And I've been really happy finding that kind of stuff. So I have been getting board games, in addition to the Monopoly that I'll probably keep. Here's a sealed Pictionary. This was $8, and this is the 20th anniversary version. Again, I'm not making a ton of money on these, but I'm making good enough money that it's worth the purchase and with the sell-through rate. Same for this Dominion game. I'll show you a comp on the screen. One of the reasons I bought this for $10 was when I opened it, all the parts are sealed. So everything's new, just the box is open. So that really changes the value when you're looking at comps. One thing I guess I should mention this because it is a little bothersome for me when I watch other YouTubers, because especially people that really focus on the sell-through rate, is say I scan the barcode, and up pops 100 listings, and then I go, well, how many sold? And there's 40 sold. Well, a sold new and a listed new is much different than a sold used and a listed used. So keep that in mind when you're actually doing your check for sell-through rate. If you have a new one, pull up the listings for new ones. Don't pull up the listing that you just scan with your barcode, because you're going to get a different take when you notice that maybe all the new ones are selling, but none of the used ones are selling. But if you're not checking that, you might be tempted to buy a used one that's never going to sell. So I didn't mean to say so. I don't know why I keep saying so. I'll have some of my drink. It's my anti-so lemon iced tea. I have been very frustrated with my local Goodwill, the one close to me, because they priced every record in the store $5, except for the ones that come straight from Target, and they price those higher than Target's price. But I was in my other Goodwill, and normally their records are $1 unless they price them differently. And there was a ton of records there, and so I really kind of went through all of them, but they were all priced high, like $2, $3, $4, $5, $6. But I knew that some of these that I was getting were going to be very much worth it. In this Journey Escape, I paid $6 for, but if you notice right up here it says half speed master, and what that means is when they mastered the actual disc, they played a half speed master. So basically it's a slows everything down, which creates a better product. This one's I can't even see any scratches, scuffs, anything. I should get $50 for this one. I'm tempted to keep it, although I do think I have another copy of this album. But as a 10-year-old, this was the very first concert I went to at the Seattle Coliseum. First concert anywhere, but it happened to be at the Seattle Coliseum. So I was really happy to pay $6 for this record. I'll show you a couple of the other ones I got. A bunch of Steely Dan, and I mean, I pulled all these out to check, but whoever's record collection this was, they kept immaculate condition of their records. So a bunch of Steely Dan, Yes, Supertramp, Aerosmith, Thin Lizzy, and then I got this Ambrosia. I'm not familiar with Ambrosia. It was $3, but when I opened it, there was actually 2 records in here, and one of them is the record that this cover is to, but the other record was Heart. So Dog and Butterfly. I couldn't find the cover. I tried to find, because I did find a few that were out in the wrong thing. This one just didn't even have a cover. So I thought I'll buy it so I can get that. Here's a Foreigner. There's a Bryan Adams. And again, all of these are in pristine condition. And then got a couple of Steve Miller Band. And I don't think I have those ones. I've got some other Steve Miller. And then I also got a Fleetwood Mac Tusk double album. So really happy with I've spent a lot on records. I don't normally buy records like that, but I'll at least be able to make $50 back on that one. So I got 3 more items here. So hang in there, guys. One more sip. You've seen my selling of connects, and what I've mostly been doing is just separating all the connects into different sizes and shapes and colors, and then selling lots. And this one I actually got for $10. I was surprised. It's the box is open, but the contents inside are sealed. And so I haven't found this one as a comp yet, but for $10 for a sealed Connect set that you can build this cool Ferris wheel, that's got to be worth it. I've been scoring with either sealed, or at least the box might be open, but the stuff inside is sealed. I've got these Connects. I got a couple of different Lego sets or Mega Block sets recently, so really happy with those. And then the last game here is this Scrabble turntable. I've recently sold a really nice Scrabble set, turntable set, sealed. This one, really, I mean, I can't even tell this has been played. It's so clean. It obviously has been. I've got all the parts, pieces and parts here, and the timer and the instructions. The box is pretty nice. I don't remember what I paid. $10 for this. But these sell pretty well as far as these special versions. I've got a Super Scrabble that's still listed, but that'll do well. Okay, so I'm down to the last item. This was such a shocker. So I wish I had my little camera when I was in the store, but when you see a cart come out and you get to be the first person there, and the way they do carts in my store, they have a cart with 4 plastic bins. So there's 2 on top, 2 on the bottom. And I kind of reached into the bottom cart, and there was a few bags, and I pulled this bag out of Hot Wheels, and the first thing I saw was the General Lee in there, but I did see some red line wheels, so I just immediately put that into my cart. I didn't even look at it till later. They wanted $20 for it, and so that seemed awful high, but I could see red lines in here. But I'm going to put some comps up. I was so shocked when I started actually pulling these cars out and scanning them to look for comps. We'll pull the one out that you're going to see first, but just incredible. I mean, this is in really nice condition. Now, it's not the red interior, but really nice condition, and obviously you can see it's got the red line wheels. But there's several red line wheels cars here. Not all of them are great, but so many of these have incredible comps. And I really don't do Hot Wheels just because it's all condition, and I don't really like fighting with people on, well, you said it was this and I think it's this. I will do very detailed descriptions on these cars when I list them, but for $20, I've gotten bags of Hot Wheels at Goodwill before, and there might be one red line car in there, and then it turns out it's worth like 15 bucks. But there are so many in here that are worth a lot. Not as much as this one, but this one alone, I should have no problem getting $200. So really great flip. You know, I don't think this one's worth a lot. That might go in my cancel culture list of items. But really glad that I've been able to get great stuff like this recently. And I've got this will be my third video in a relatively short period of time where I really am just going over great stuff that we've been able to bring in. And now the fun job is get all this stuff listed and get it sold. So thank you again for watching. I know this was a long video. I appreciate that. Thank you. I do the value for value model, so I'm trying to give you as much value as I can, and then you give me value by watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing these videos. So again, really appreciate all that. Really hope you join me next time, and this really is pretty good.